Well, I hope you guys enjoyed open week. I did. No, seriously, open week was good. When we started the season and I looked at this open week, really only playing once in 3 weeks, I didn't know how I'd feel about it. I think it's probably going to work out for the better now. It's given us a chance to work on a lot of different things to get a little bit healthier, a little bit of rest physically and emotionally and mentally, and to try to fix as many things as we could fix within the structure of things. I think it'll be good to have another open week, to have a little more time to try to work on some things and get some more guys healthy. Conference play is always a little bit different, a little bit of a change, a little more heightened intensity. Somehow the computer spits us out to get to play Lafayette every year. I don't know how that happens. I thought these computers had a variance to them. Didn't you? Yeah. So we get to open there. That's been a tough opener for us. They've been the class of the league really for the last 4 or 5 years, and Mark's done a great job there, Coach Hudspeth, and they've had good players. They've played well. They've coached well. Got good fan support. Tough place to go play. They're off to a similar start to last year, and they promptly after last year, after starting 1-3, I think they won 7 in a row, and then lost the last one. So I think that's right. I know they won 7 out of 8. They've got a good on offense. Good offensive line, good running back in McGuire, and good receivers. Obviously, they're rotating quarterbacks, trying to settle on one. Both of them are talented, but they just haven't. I think they tried to settle on Nixon maybe last week, and I'm not sure where they're at with that right now. He may give them more options, running and throwing. Maybe at least they may think that. Both are capable. We played against the other young man some last year and the year before, and he's got ability. We know that. Defensively, they're big. Got good speed in the secondary. Good athletes. Their size up front has given us problems in the past. And really, as I said the other day, we haven't been much of a challenge to them the first 2 years, so hopefully we will play them better.
Size offensively and defensively
Both.
What you've seen in practice so far, can you tell any difference in defense or something
Well, there's a difference. I hope it shows up on game day to a degree. There's limitations to what you can do, but from I think discipline, accountability, from maybe eliminating some of the gray in the defense and making some changes with personnel and people in different spots. We hope that we've worked hard at trying to orchestrate change, so we hope that it shows up to a degree. I still continue to believe we're better on defense than we've played for whatever reason, and I think our players believe that. And so I hope the production is better. I think it can be. Getting healthy is a big help for us.
the last couple of years that you guys have put in Lafayette, you said something to the effect that the results made it look like the two teams were in the same class. Do you feel like the program's on a little bit more equal footing this year?
I think we're closer, yeah. I do. I think watching the film, I think we feel that way. That doesn't mean the score is going to turn out that way sometimes, but Yeah, I do think we're. I think the Arkansas State win last year, and who's also been one of those teams there, uh, you know, kind of showed we were closing the gap, but we just haven't closed it against Lafayette, head to head. Well, you prepare for both. I think you understand what they're going to try to do with each one of them best you can, and their changes are not massive or big from one to the other, but they will change a little bit. I think the biggest thing we've got to do is try to get ready to take on the offensive line, the size of them, and the running back. I think their running game is probably going to make their quarterback a better player, make them more comfortable. And if we don't find a way to get some stops with that, then the quarterback will play fine on Saturday, I think.
You were without some defensive line.
4. We left 3 defensive of our top 4 defensive tackles. We left 3 at home, and the 4th one got hurt on the 11th play. DeAndre Elvoy, Landon Beck, Rashad Dillon, and Dallas McClarty. Well, I think part of our problem in the Houston game, we've been pretty good at taking care of the ball. We turned it over the other night, and we can't press. I think when that should have been 35-21 maybe at halftime. I mean, we could find a lot of different scores in there, but the defense's inability to get a stop, I think, wore on the offense a little bit, and I think some of them pressed a little bit, and they can't do that. They just got to play their game, and take care of the football. And if we don't have Lawrence's fumble and CJ's fumble, you'd like to think we get touchdowns there, at least field goals, and maybe we don't throw the pick six, and you get to the locker room, it's a different halftime. But we let it get away from us when we didn't take care of the football, and we give them a score on offense. And Tyler probably pressed a little bit, but he wasn't the only one. A lot of them do.
With the defensive line, how are those guys practicing?
I knew you guys were going to ask me about injuries, and I really don't have anything I want to tell you because I don't want to tell them anything, So we'll just leave it at that. Be glad to tell you one-on-one.
How about defensively? Can you say changed philosophy much? John was pretty much attacking style.
Well, John was, but when he got into the season, I think he stopped being that way. He got a little conservative, I think, on game day sometimes. And, when I went against John, he wasn't that way. But I think for whatever reason, he got a little bit that way. So I don't.
It wasn't something you guys talked about.
No, I didn't. His plan was to be aggressive going into the season. And in the first game against Florida State, he said, we're going to kind of play soft and keep it in front of us. And I thought, well, this is a little different thought process than we've been working on, but okay, that's what our plan is. So I think we'll hope to be a little more up tempo, and key is to look like it, to make some plays like it.
So you'll try to be a little more aggressive.
I think so. Brad is like his father a little bit, and his father's a great guy. I've met him. I know him. He's friendly. He's a good guy. I really think a lot of the guy. He is going to hold them accountable. He's going to have discipline. He's going to have, he likes things black or white. A lot of defensive coaches are a little more gray out there sometimes. Offensive coaches tend to be black, white, got to do this, got to block. Defensive coaches, you know, the great thing about defense, one guy goes the right way and 10 go the wrong way, and if one guy makes a good play, everybody looks smart. On offense, one guy goes the wrong way, and all 11 look bad sometimes. So it's just two different, it's dogs and cats, you know. And so I think Brad will be a little more, we're going to do it this way, we're going to line right, we're going to know our assignments better, we're going to understand why we're doing what we're doing better. I think all his approaches with that and his energy and everything has been good for us.
Who stood out in his defense that necessarily stand out?
Say that again?
Who stood out for Brad as not necessarily standing out for practice?
Well, I think the biggest thing maybe that I've seen in practice is our secondary, I think, is kind of a little more clearly defined in what they're doing and has, I think, played more aggressively the last several days. Just like when you have an injury, you close ranks, you march on. We have capable people. You know, I almost hired Brad when I hired John. I thought the players would be a little more uneasy, or we just kept going. Nothing. They wanted to get better, and I think they like what Brad's given them, and so I was prepared for it to be a little bit more bumpy than it was, but it really wasn't. And they want to play better. They want to plan to play better, and they want to do better, and they like what Brad's given them, I think, and so that's been pretty good. And the guys have accepted the change, and they knew things had to change, and so it's really gone pretty smooth.
How many were there gray areas on every play?
Were there what?
Gray areas on every play in the defense. And did you feel like that was maybe one of the bigger reasons for the defense's struggles to start the year out?
Well, I don't know if there was a gray area on every play, but I think there was enough things happening that were a little vague, and then with the speed of the no huddle, and now I got to get lined up, I got to go fast, and now I'm a little unsure. And I think, you know, one of the things I talked to John about was getting his calls in sooner. You know, you got to be ready to roll like they are. You know, defense doesn't dictate tempo; they react to tempo. And in the Southern Miss game, I thought John was a little slow a few times, and so all of a sudden we're getting the call late. Now we're having to recognize the formation, make our communications, and the ball's getting snapped. And that's what up-tempo offenses do to people. We've done it to people, and that's what happens sometimes. You know, sometimes I always say, be careful what you ask for, you might get it. Well, sometimes on offense we do that to people, and they line up crazy, but they're standing where they're going to make the play instead of letting them get lined up and knowing where they're going to be and blocking them. Kind of works both ways sometimes. But our guys needed to get the call, to get lined up, and then they have a chance to play. And some of those times, not the whole game, but there were times that wasn't happening. And I just think what he's done is put things into a message that's more concise and sharper to them, that it's this way, it's not this way. So instead of this is what we want. And then he's held them accountable to do that.
you see in practice that they're playing a lot faster, that they're not thinking as much about what their assignment is to do, that they're reacting more?
Yeah, I've seen that. I think we're going to see it more and more. You know, we've just been through 4 or 5 practices like this, but I think it's, you know, we haven't done so much that, you know, they're not. If we've trained a guy to do certain things for 45 practices or whatever, you can't untrain him. You got to take what you've trained him to do and then add a little bit or pull a little bit and mold it into the things that you do. If you teach concepts, then you can take a concept and plug it into a bigger picture. I'll give you an example. We have different protections and we have different routes. Well, when we make a game plan, we will plug the protection in with the route. So, you know, if the protection is a car, say a Ford, and the route is mesh, we could go Ford mesh or whatever it may be. Or we could go Chevy mesh if we want to protect. Some protections are 5-man protections, some are 6-man protections, some are 7-man protections. So the quarterback has to know, you know, which protection he's in from the standpoint of who his protectors are. And the receivers plug the routes in, and so you've learned the concepts, now you can put them together. We were with John, we weren't very much of a concept teaching. We were more of a memory teaching, which is fine. I mean, it doesn't have to be the other way. But conceptual teaching, which I think Brad's turned a little bit more to, gives you an opportunity to be multiple and plug things together. So that's part of what we've tried to do. We changed our tackling techniques a little bit and things like that.
Have you talked to John about, some things, I don't know if you want to say you were happy or satisfied with, that precipitate his leaving?
Well, I mean, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to know we can't be very happy with the way we're playing. So, yes, but, I mean,
But you didn't ask him.
no, I tried to talk him out of it. I
Did
didn't
he
think.
tell you, give you a reason why he stepped
When the change was announced to us, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was announced that Brad was taking over as the interim defensive coordinator. Is there an expectation that he is coaching with the intention to be permanent defensive coordinator?
Hey, we're all day to day. We're all migrant workers. We're just coaching today and coaching this week, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, if it goes well, he can become the permanent. You know, I think anytime you're in this situation, if the guy next man up moves up and does well, you're going to think about doing that. Since I know him pretty well, you know, that really doesn't have much to do with this because dinner around the table is a lot better if we're doing well. So, you know, I don't want to sit and have dinner with him and be mad at him because he's playing bad. You know, so I mean, you know, you earn your spot. You know, you earn your spot, and he's excited for the opportunity. You know, I labored long over the decision when I hired John, and you know, I give the entire staff input and thoughts, and we made a kind of a group decision. But Brad was right there. I mean, we almost hired him then. You know, he's been a defensive coach for a long time. He quickly figured out if he coached offense, he had to sit in the same room with Dad, and that wasn't comfortable. So he moved to defense. He had to sit in the same room as Dad sits a lot. So I figured out I'll move to the other room. Did you remember when I told him? Okay. I'm not going to talk about who's playing or not playing. I'll tell you afterwards. But I'm not stating it for the enemy to know. Sorry. Hope you guys understand that. Y'all good? Thanks. All right, now you can come up and ask me who's playing and who's not playing.